Hey there, CJ Maurer with The Gist, back with another strategic HubSpot tutorial. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build an ideal termed client follow-up and engagement system. So you're a business, you are a software company, or you have managed services contracts, and clients cancel or don't renew, and now they're no longer an active client. What do you do then? We're going to show you the ideal way to use HubSpot to orchestrate the tracking and subsequent follow-up of clients who are no longer your clients. First of all, you can see here, this is a demo portal and we have the index page of a company. Obviously, this is going to differ for every single company, but this is modeled after an HR and payroll company. But regardless, right, you should have the expectation that you can go into your companies, you could filter by all of your active clients, maybe some other filters as well, and you can see them by status, right? So the client status property is where that begins. So if you are going to have any chance of doing this, you need at least one property, in this case client status, that tracks the different levels or statuses of client, right? So you can see right here, we have active, seasonal, inactive, in conversion, termed. This is going to depend business to business. But no matter what, you need to have this property. Number two, you need a way to make sure it's automatically set to active when a client is activated. And that could be done either through a workflow that triggers when a deal is moved to closed won, or an internal process, a manual check by a user of your team. But that's the turning it to active. What about now when it turns to terminated or canceled or inactive or whatever you want to call that? Well, that part I can't really help you with because I don't know if your HubSpot is integrated with a client management software that's automatically feeding in data when a client terminates, or if it's just an internal process for when your clients terminate and you have somebody go in there like a customer success manager to change it, right? But regardless, you are going to need to have a process. So what most people do, even if you're starting simple, is use some conditional logic. So if I go to conditional logic here, we actually have a system that says client status is equal to termed. And conditional logic is when you have to, based on a property value equaling something, the system is requiring whoever is making that update to enter in more properties. So what this says is if client status is ever equal to termed, you need to put in the termination date, the termination reasons, and if there's a win back possibility, right? So let me go over here and say this company, King Inc., just terminated. So I'm going to go in here to client status. I'm going to move it to termed. And now I have to indicate the termination date, the termination reason or reasons. Highly recommended to capture this, by the way, because then you can build reports that not only break out the amount of terms by week or by month or by year, but also the reasons why. This is going to give your leadership team really valuable insights into why you're losing clients. Then, is there a chance we could win this back, right? A lot of people who cancel or go inactive doesn't mean that they're going to be that way forever. A lot of times they could come back. So you want to use your best judgment to indicate yes or no. If yes, we have another conditional logic in place where we decide what is the follow-up date. You know what? Call me at the end of the year. Okay, so December 1st. And then here we can say, in the termed client follow-up notes, client wanted to wait until our software improved, or whatever it may be, right? Now you hit save. And not only is that client saved as terminated, right? But they're going to trigger in this workflow. And now you have a workflow that says whenever the client status is termed, enroll in this workflow. And then it's going to check the win back possibility, right? So if yes, you want to send an internal email to the entire team. So that way we can say, hey team, unfortunately we lost this client. It's a simple way to keep everybody in the loop and to provide continuous education to your team. Then you're going to want to change that lifecycle stage. So in this case, we clear it and then set it to former client. Keep them as a marketing status in this, as a marketing contact in this instance. And then ultimately, we're going to create a task to follow up with them when that follow-up date arrives. But I'll get to that in a second. If the win back possibility is no, you're pretty much doing the same things, except you are not setting them as a marketing contact. You're actually setting them as a non-marketing contact. Next, you have a workflow here, and this one won't trigger until all of the factors align, meaning the status is termed, the win back possibility is yes, and that follow-up date is now at least no more than 7 days away. So now, even if that follow-up date, whether it was a month or a year or 2 years from now, once that follow-up date is less than 7 days away, you're going to send an internal notification and create a task for the owner of that company or contact and remind them that, hey, this is the company that termed. You're going to put in all of your information in there, including the follow-up note, so that you can refresh the memory, and now you can prompt people to follow up. So now not only do you have a simple way to track the statuses of clients and reporting, but you also have the most reliable way to decide, is there a chance that we can win them back? And if so, can we keep them in the loop in the meantime? So mark them as a former client, put them on your newsletter distribution list, send them a couple emails here and there, add some value, but respect their decision. And then when the time comes, have somebody reach out. The last step is really just reporting and analytics, right? So you can see that this is just a demo portal. So this is not a super in-depth report dashboard, but you can see the companies that we have marked as terminated are all showing up here. And then you can do some other really cool things like graphs and charts to analyze by reason or by win-back possibility. This will give you and your team, especially your executive leadership team, a lot of insight into who's leaving, why are they leaving, what can we do about it to help your company grow and improve. So that is the termed client tracking and engagement system in HubSpot, the best way we know to do it. Of course, you can customize it depending on the business and your needs, but a really simple one that a lot of businesses could apply right now. So I hope you found this video useful. We make these strategic HubSpot tutorials all the time, at least once a week. We're coming out with a new video, and we love to hear from all of our subscribers and people who follow the channel. In this description, not only will you be able to learn more about the gist and how we help companies set up HubSpot, but you can even click a link to ask a question or suggest a topic for us to tackle. A lot of the videos that we made have came from suggestions from our subscribers. So thank you so much. We love doing them, and we hope to see you soon.